I bought one of these fucking things as well.
I'm going live. Good evening. You caught us on the hop there. Yeah, look, you've got a full accountability of the old school Millwall podcast from I don't think I think the last time all four of us have been on a show is probably a year or so ago. I've made the numbers are flying up. Welcome. We are, those of you who are joining, we are going to be joined by a special guest very, very shortly after the intros in a minute, once we've had our hellos and everything else, by Tom from Notts County Talk, what is a Notts County podcast. We're going to grill him on Langstaff. But if you're involved in the pre-show conversation, go one or two ways now, to be fair, but we'll see what's what. I mean, not that we're not getting him. It was just that we were thinking that he could be disappointed. Well, you're going to have to tune in a minute. Good evening, Omar, the one and only, my faithful partner in crime. He's back. What's this? Your third on the trot now, is it?
Listen, there will be haters, but evening, mate. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Loving it, mate. Loving it as always, mate. Living the dream. So, yeah, you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Even to the chat too. And everyone, all the hellos in there, normal faces. So, yeah, let's hope we get a good show today and talk about Macaulay Langstaff and Tango.
That's it. Well, we are joined by Joe, who is obviously looking rather tanned. It's amazing what those sunbeds in Essex can do for you. Evening, Joe. You all right?
Evening, Mickey. Yeah, how you doing? How you doing, guys?
I'm better now you're back, mate, because we were getting panicked with some of the footage you were showing us of the forest fires in Greece.
Yeah, I know. It was terrible. First for me to be stuck in wildfire, but it just added to the suntan. What can I say? It's all good.
Dan Riggs is he's already.
I'll say it. Get the scene ready.
And we're joined by Chris from Chaps with Chat, or Chat with Chaps. Now, not necessarily Millwall Podcast, even though you are still part of us, but you are now out there fletching on your own with your own show coming shortly, as you keep promising us. Good evening and welcome. How are you?
Good evening, chaps. Yeah, all good. Excited to talk about one or two potential signings. It's been a bit dry, hasn't it? So, looking forward to getting into that.
That's it. Right, without further ado, then let's bang the intros, and then we'll come back, and then we'll bring Tom in, and we can get him. This is a live interactive show. Get involved in the comments if you're watching us on Twitter. Just reply where you're watching it, and basically your comments will come straight through to us. And those of you on YouTube, make sure you press like, make sure you press subscribe if you haven't already. It gives us loads and loads of benefits. So hit those buttons. Right, off we go.
Language you don't usually hear on television. Millwall in London's Dockland.
No one likes us, but we don't care. We're that Millwall Podcast. Loud every Friday night right here. Legends like Jimmy Abdul take a share in the kitchen or two. Super Neil Harris a fucking legend too. Through the good times and in this life, we support the Lions all our life. This ain't no place for fancy feet. This is fucking Millwall through and through. Located on our very own John Ferguson way. Let them walk on, let them have their say. Millwall till we die. With that Millwall Podcast, guys. Loud every Friday night, right?
Good evening and welcome back. We are joined, as you can see, there is a northerner amongst us. Be careful, gents. Do you know what I mean? There is a northerner. Good evening and welcome, Tom. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Cheers for having me on.
No worries. As there is a northerner here, I suppose really we should do this one.
F-Troop are the real nutters.
And I'm not going away for some dirty northern punts to spit all over me. If he spits over me, I'll put a fucking pint glass in his head.
There we go. We start how we mean to go on, Tom.
Welcome to that Millwall Podcast, Tom.
Yeah. Welcome. Yeah.
A friendly bunch.
Yeah, no, we're the most friendliest fans in the world, mate. Apart from when we're losing. Welcome. You're on to talk about Langstaff. Obviously, there's nothing confirmed yet from either side. Bobby's back. There's nothing actually physically confirmed by either club, but there's been too many people now breaching it. We know it's happening. Club will probably announce it tomorrow, and we'll go from there. But your thoughts, I suppose, on leaving, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, we'll do that and start, and then we'll go through the panel because no doubt some of them will have some questions. So
yeah. I mean, so first and foremost, we wouldn't be a Football League club without Langstaff. Got him from Gateshead, 50,000. I'm just getting his stats up now. 50,000. And we were told he was a pretty good striker. We were told pretty clinical, and then he went and scored 42 goals in 47 games. And I mean, I think he probably could have got 60 if he'd sort of, had a bit more luck with finishing or been a bit more clinical, which is something I'm sure we're going to talk about. Unbelievable player. If I'm just doing a quick overview, outstanding player. Met him after we got promoted when he went around Nottingham after the promotion. One of the best weekends I've had. A great guy, which for me, when you sign a player like that, you want someone that's going to be a good person in the dressing room. Have no doubt he is. Put as our captain. Probably a sneaky way to try and get a bit more money for him, if I'm being honest. But just in general, unbelievable finisher. Fantastic person. I've never seen a game where he's given less than 100%. Even, last season was a shambles. He must have been looking around at the defence and thinking, why on earth am I here? Sometimes we would score 4 goals and lose the game. I remember seeing him score a couple. It might have been a goal against Colchester, who were not good last year. We lost 5-4. So I don't know if you'd have got him if we had a better defence, because I think we'll be a League One club, and I think he would have probably stayed. But yeah, fantastic player. Fantastic player.
Open up to the panel. Any of you guys want to ask Tom a question?
Go on, I'll go first. So obviously 42 goals in 47 games, like you said there, and he seemed to transition to League Two quite well. I think was it 28 in League Two, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I guess a natural goal scorer then, was that a fair assessment? How would you describe his style of play in a sense? Is he playing in the front two as well? Excuse my ignorance, but not seen many of those county games. But what kind of system do you play, and where does he fit into that?
Yeah, so he's definitely a natural goal scorer. The 42 goals he scored in the National League, none were from the penalty spot.
That was my next question, because I noticed that, because he's not your penalty taker. Because
no,
the guy that missed the penalty against Wrexham was so indifferent, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Kevin Scott, his partner, that was actually his strike partner at Gateshead. And there was a whole thing about he's scared to take penalties, and then he smashed one in the playoff final. So, he can take penalties. I think he's played in the front two previously. We've sort of used him more up top on his own this season because we've had Jody Jones, who I think I sent you over a highlight reel of his 5 best goals, and Jones got the assist for the one against Newport, which was ranked at number 3. Mm-hmm. Jones is ridiculous, and one of the reasons that Macca has 28 this season. So he doesn't normally play in the front two. We started to see it more towards the end of the season. He can play in either way. But again, you haven't seen much of Notts. I don't see too much of Millwall. Don't really look above League Two level because there's no need for us at the minute. But I've never seen him in a team that's not dominating games. And even when we've lost 5-4, we've still been in control of games. We've just thrown it away. So I don't know what he's going to be like in a side that isn't dominating. That I don't know. You might dominate games, but he's had everything on a plate for him for 2 years, pretty much. And he can create things on his own, but don't expect him to be taking on 2 or 3 defenders and putting it bottom corner, because it's not who he is. Gotcha. I've just been out with George, who does the podcast with me, and I literally just got home, and I was saying to him, if you stuck him in Leicester or Southampton last year, I reckon he's comfortably 15 goals, maybe 20. So if you give him the service, he's going to score. He's a natural finisher.
I reckon.
Sorry, Mickey.
No, I was just going to say, to be fair, I think if we can get 10, 15, between that out of him, I think that'll be an absolute bargain buy, to be fair.
Yeah. Sorry, 1 second, Joe, just one last question from me. Right. What's your thoughts on the fee? Obviously, it's been rumoured to be 700k. I don't know if you've heard your side, but it feels quite cheap. Yes, it feels quite cheap though for someone that's scored a lot of goals for you guys.
Yeah, he absolutely robbed us.
Yeah,
I mean, our owners are very, very good. We've bought him Maka for 50,000 and we're selling him for 700,000 rumoured with add-ons. We've done it with 2 managers. Luke Williams, who's now the Swansea boss, he's gone. Ian Birchnell, who went to Forest Green and didn't do very well, we made profit on him, which allowed us to make signings in the National League. So our owners are very clever. And everything, we've had them on our podcast before, everything is on percentages. Mm-hmm. So, and they work out sort of risk to reward factor. The add-ons must be very good. They must be, because 700,000 for a striker that's literally in his prime. Not 28 until Feb. So, he's still got a good 6 years of being, still having that pace he's got and finishing technique and things like that. I think you've robbed us. I don't know what the add-ons will be. If it's a goal add-on or appearance add-on, I think it's a risk for us, because who knows? He could get a season-long injury in the first game.
Mm.
So if the add-ons are performance-based and that happened, we're in a mess.
Yeah, sure. I know what you mean. Go on, Joe. So what was your question, mate?
No, just going back to your previous point, Tom, about his ability. What concerns me there, you mentioned it, a couple of times, that obviously Notts County are a good team in creating lots of chances, and he often gets lots of chances. You said he scores quite a few, but he misses quite a few as well. Trouble with us at Millwall, he'd be lucky if he gets 1 chance in a game, maybe 2 if he's lucky. Yeah. And if he gets those chances, he has to put it away. We've seen it ourselves. We don't create a lot of chances at Millwall, but when we do get the rare 1 or 2 chances, maybe 3 chances at home, if we're lucky, we really need to sort of put those away. And what concerns me a little bit is that he's a League 2 player with respect. He's had like 12 clubs in the last sort of 9-10 years, all within the sort of northern sort of league, and not playing anything higher than League 2. To make the jump up 2 divisions to the Championship, where you play against much better defenders that won't give you no time on the ball, that obviously better ball players. Do you think he's good enough to step up to the Championship?
I think so. I do think so. Will you play a 1 up front or 2?
We usually play a 1 at the moment because we've got Fleming. If Fleming stays, he normally plays as the number 10 or the kind of false 9, what you want to call it, that behind him. So he'll probably play as a little bit of a lone striker. I mean, that's how we played it under Harris last season. Whether we change it next season, I don't know.
I'd be not massive. I'd be slightly concerned if he's going up top on his own, like you say about the physicality. I've got family members who are Watford fans, so I've been to a few games, and you've got a Watford first game of the season, haven't you? So as long as you're scoring that, that's fine. And you see the difference from me going to Notts County every week to seeing a Championship game. The defenders there's a massive difference in physicality. I'm thinking just from a Watford point of view, Wesley Hoyt in the back. You don't get anyone like that in League 2. No one like that.
That's right. His quality, to be fair. I think it was their player of the season last season, weren't he, as well?
Yeah. And he doesn't come up against anyone. You don't have any defenders with like blistering pace in League 2. Everyone is sort of much the same.
It's all about heading the balls. Yeah, it's very direct football, isn't it? So if you're an old-fashioned defender, you probably do well in League 2. The Championship is a lot about pace and agility, and that.
He is quick. We have a winger called. Well, we had a winger called Toby Adebayo-Rowling, who was the fastest player I've seen at Notts in years.
Really? Yeah.
And we had him on the pod as well and said, "Who's the fastest player?" Thinking he'd say himself. He said, "Oh, it's comfortably Maka."
Really? But is that over a long distance, Tom, or was that over a short distance? You kind of work out what he meant by that. Is that both? Was it really? That's interesting.
Yeah. Toby reckoned if you give 100 meters, Maka will give him a run for his money, but anything more than that, like
really
shorter than 100 meters, Maka will give him a run, but anything more, he's a pressing machine as well.
That's good. It sounds like hopefully he could be an improvement on Tom Bradshaw, because Bradshaw for us has been renowned for pressing defenders, working really hard, doesn't have the pace to get in behind the defenders, and that's probably what we're lacking. So hopefully he could be that sort of player that could unlock and get in behind defenders and give us that little bit of extra attacking threat maybe.
Can I add on to that as well? I'd love to know 2 questions.
Just say, really. Chris, you sound incredibly sexy with your new mic.
That's what the missus said, mate. That's what the missus said.
The love hour with chats.
The love hour with right, back to business. Come on, guys.
Sorry, back in the room.
2 questions.
So unprofessional, Joe.
I'm sorry. I've been on a Camden parallel.
Focus.
Go
So
for it.
two questions in one. So the first question is, if you was to like name his top 3 attributes, what would they be? And then the second question is, obviously there's rumours, we don't know what's true and whatever, but it doesn't appear we were the only club interested in him. And then given the fact that he seems to be, from his previous club choice, a professional Northerner, if you don't mind me saying, what do you think, made him choose Millwall?
Top 3 attributes. Instinctive finishing. I mean, out of those 42, I'd love to know how many he took more than 3 touches before he finished it. Surprisingly as well, decent header of the ball. Really good. Second is work rate. Exceptional. I'd love to know how far he runs in a game. He's one of the strikers, you see them sometimes and you wish the rest of the team would press with them.
Yeah.
But he does damage with his pressing on his own. So he is very, very good. And then my third, I would fail to put things like link-up play in there. Strength to hold the ball. I wouldn't say holds the ball up particularly well.
It's just sounds like Bradshaw, doesn't he, guys?
We've been dominating. Yeah, we've been dominating games, so he hasn't needed to hold it up. Maybe his speed. Probably speed, work rate, and finishing.
Is he quick? He's obviously quick then, isn't he? So
he is quick.
That's probably why we wanted him, because obviously with pace that'd be quite scary, especially if you think if we've got a Maku and an SA up there as well this year, that's going to be quite a bit of space with Fleming and him. That could cause some openings.
We haven't really got to see his pace too much though, because as I said, even the games we've lost, it's been our own mistakes. So we've been pretty dominant in possession. So we don't ever see him running in behind necessarily, or we don't counter attack. But you really do see it in spells where he's quick. And I think your second question was why Millwall?
Yeah.
On our end of season pod, we talked about teams we thought would tempt him. We thought obviously Birmingham with the money. We thought possibly a Derby, one of the Sheffield teams being local. We then thought Middlesbrough because he's a Middlesbrough fan.
Where is it?
And then Millwall never crossed our mind. Swansea did with the Luke Williams link. I don't know why Swansea. I thought it might have ignited a bidding war. Not to keep everything very close to their chest, and you never know. We don't know transfers until the minute they're announced.
Alas.
But I would have thought we'd have found out a bit more. So I don't know why Millwall. I mean, you can't give it if he gets an opportunity to move up 2 divisions. You got to give it him. Got to.
Yeah, maybe we're the only ones that came in from the Championship, because, like you said, with the opportunity to potentially, re-engage with his former manager at Swansea, you'd think that, and let's be honest, Swansea are more of a possession-based, create chances side. So my only assumption is they didn't come in for him. Don't know.
It must be that, or I don't know what their funds are like, but 700,000 to a Championship team to me doesn't seem a huge amount, even with the add-ons.
That's fortunes for Millwall.
Tom, could you explain like the sort of type of goals he scored? I know you mentioned he very takes 2 or 3 touches and he scores, but are the supply coming from the wings? Is it through balls? Does he play with his back to goal and then turn? What sort of finisher is he? What sort of striker is he?
Generally a bit of everything.
To our system, yeah.
We heavily rely on crosses,
right?
Because we've got 2 fantastic wingers.
You've got Jody Jones play for you as well, aren't you?
Jody Jones.
Winger. Yeah.
Can we not get a buy one get one free and take him as well?
Honestly, it's been a debate amongst Notts fans who like a bit of a joke debate. Who would you rather lose if you had to? And it was on our podcast, end of season podcast. It was a vote. Who would you rather lose? And people would prefer to lose Maka to Jody. Definitely.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah,
Jody's a lot younger though, isn't he?
I think he is a little bit younger, but he had 900 days out of football. He got 2 back-to-back ACL injuries. We basically took him from Oxford, and he had to have half a season rebuilding his career.
He played at Coventry, didn't he, as well, from memory? I think he played in the Championship, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He got a hat-trick against Notts on the opening day like 7 years ago or something like that. But he broke the EFL assist record ever in a season in February, I think. Ridiculous.
Did he get 18 or something, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he ended up well over 20 towards 25 or something like that. But
sorry, 20, 25 what, sorry?
Assists.
Oh, assists, right? Yeah, I know he was renowned for getting lots of assists, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, in terms of goals, he literally scores all types, headers. There's a couple where he's got his back to goal, one outside the area where he puts it top corner, another one where he sort of Cruyff turns and puts it in with his weaker foot. Quite a few where the ball will be played between two. We like to play between the centre back and the left back and the right back. So the ball between the full back and the centre back, and he will take one touch out his feet and then put it away. Right. Not too much where you have to really scrap for it and fight for it because he's away from defenders with his pace. But he does. I mean, he scored, I don't know, 70 odd goals for us. So there is a massive variety in there.
Yeah. Lastly, I mean, for me, obviously he got appointed captain, didn't he, at the close season? So is it a bit of a shock, or was that maybe more of a gesture to try and lure him to stay, or what's the perception of that from Notts County fans?
We thought that was it. We thought he was safe in at Notts. I don't know. There's been this is something we're not really to get into on a Millwall podcast, but there's been something with our current captain, our previous captain, who's just gone on loan to St Johnstone and pretty much put a tweet out saying he asked to leave after he was removed with the captaincy. So the next obvious choice would be Macca. If something hadn't have kicked off, would he have been put captain? I don't know. It did. Again, George, who do the podcast we have just spoke to, he thinks it makes us look a bit daft. Given the captaincy and he's gone within like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Because you made a bit of a hoo-ha about it as well, didn't you? And announced it online and all that sort of stuff. And it made it feel like he was sticking around, really, didn't it?
Yeah, and by the looks of it, it's done nothing to the fee.
No, it's done nothing. I mean, there is a Notts County fan who keeps coming. Sorry, everyone, I wasn't being rude.
I've seen these comments come through.
I was sorry, I was just turning off the ads because the ads went on by auto, and a couple of you were moaning about them. So I've had to try and fire my laptop up because it is slower than a dead frog. So there's a fella called Asher Levin who keeps going, it's not 700 grand. Unless you can show me the paperwork, our sources are telling us that it's 700 grand, including add-ons, or maybe 700 grand plus add-ons. But he's got to score the goals and whatnot to get those add-ons. So our sources are, shall we say, a fairly reliable journalist who potentially I probably believe over you, as I don't know you. I mean, do you know that fan?
No, I don't. Not from our live videos. Yeah, it might be a viewer of ours, but
it's a still, whatever it is, mate. It's a still, and the fact, obviously, that we've got another player. What again? It's no interest to you, but for us, it will be, Tandanga for a free. These are two players for less than $1 million. That, I mean, Tanganga was worth potentially 14-16 million a couple of years ago, and we've got him for a free.
I look at that sign. I saw you've pretty much got that sorted, and I think to myself, how would Macca stand up against someone like him? And I think Tanganga would dominate Macca, to be fair. But if you get a bit of room and he can get away from a defender, one-on-one, he's got no chance. But get some room and he's there. I think if he gets 3 chances a game, and I know he won't get 3 chances a game, there'll probably be some games in the Championship where he doesn't get one. I genuinely think 3 chances in a game, he's decent chances, he's guaranteed a goal. Guaranteed.
Score one of them.
Sometimes Wrexham was a huge rivalry that came in the National League. He got 1 chance at Meadow Lane at the start of 2 seasons ago, scored it. Massive pressure. Wrexham, the big spenders, were in town, and he scored. So
with the chances he misses, Tom, are these chances where he's been unlucky, like where keepers made great saves, or is he sort of very inconsistent with his finishing? Like does he sort of balloon shots and hit over the bar wide? What's his accuracy like for finishing?
He's never far away, ever. Okay. Never. The ones that he's missed, and I guess this will kind of be a little bit better for you as in the Championship when it's not going to be as easy. Chances where he's got too much time.
Right. Okay. Overthinking.
If he's put through one, I mean, he still scores most of his one-on-ones, but the ones I can think of from the top of my head, he's been given a bit too much time with the finish. Yeah. It wasn't the case nationally, but last year he went through spells where he would explode with goals and then go a few quiet games and then he'd do it again. I mean, I've only seen him from League 2 level, and the difference is huge. But if I was a Millwall fan and I knew what I know as a Notts fan as well, I'd be excited.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with what David Turner says there. It's only a still if he can step up, because the Championship is a serious jump.
Yeah.
But if he can step up and if he can score, I don't know, 12, 14 goals for us, then it's a steal. I mean, again, we'll look at what the deal is. I reckon it's probably going to be a 2-3 year deal, maybe, because that seems to be what we normally offer players anyway. And if it is that, then let's be honest, it's a fucking steal. I think maybe Asher is probably his manager, so show us a contract if you want, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I've got one more question anyway. So I think Alex S in the chat has actually just kind of touched on what I was about to ask. Is he a big game player, or would you say if the crowd turns on him, does he rise to that? Does he like proving people wrong? So obviously, you've pinpointed him being a hard worker. At times at Millwall, it can be a bit of a toxic crowd. It's fair to say we do back our own, but if they're not putting it in, will he take well to criticism? What's that? How's he been with that over his time in Notts County? I mean, obviously he's been scoring goals for fun, and it's kind of a feel-good feeling around your club. But how would he take to criticism?
Yeah, I would say he's the only player, apart from Jody, probably across 2 seasons, that's never received any.
Scores
I mean, there's been no opportunity to criticise him, even when he misses a sitter, which is few and far between. But he still does miss them. It's like, oh well, it's Macca. He's already scored his 35 goals. We can't complain. He's not going to score more.
My question to you, obviously, before we let you go and we'll crack on with Millwall, is how do you think the fans will take to him? Because I don't know if you've obviously been to the Den over the years, maybe if you've come with Watford and stuff, and the Den isn't a place for soft-hearted people. It's literally it will either make you or break you. And yeah, I just wonder how you think the fans will take to him.
I mean, his debut for Notts, Cruyff turned in the 6-yard box and scored. And if I remember rightly, he'd scored 2 before half-time, if I remember rightly. So there was never an opportunity for him not to hit the ground running.
Right, yeah.
I don't think he would be phased. I really don't. I mean, I think I can't think of any of the strikers, League 1 or League 2 level, that's going to come in with the confidence that he's got from the club he's been at. I mean, it's something like our 5th or 6th all-time goal scoring. He's been with us 2 seasons. So wow. He is flying in terms of confidence. He never seems to be phased. I think he'll be fine. It did get pretty toxic at Mead Lane at the end of last season when we lost Luke Williams, and then we I think went 6 games, lost all 6. Didn't seem to really affect him. I think he scored something like 6 in the final 19 in a team that wasn't doing very well. So he can still score. It's not anywhere near what he was getting, but he didn't seem to let his head drop. And he is a big character. So I think he'll be fine.
Oh, cool.
Cool. That's a question I want to build on, if that's all right. So I think, let's be honest, right? Millwall fans listen to this. We're not notoriously good at signing strikers, right? And
we haven't been in the past.
No, we haven't, right? And if I was to call out 3 of our more successful strikers, you would call out Neil Harris, Steve Morrison, and Lee Gregory. The thing they all have in common is they came from non-league. But the other thing they all have in common is mentality. So I guess it's a similar-ish question to what Mickey and Omar have just asked. But I want to know more about the man that he is as opposed to the footballer. Like, what type of character are we getting that, he's been given a captain's armband, so I'm assuming he has some kind of leadership qualities. But just tell me a little bit more about the man. I don't know if you've met him, but I'm more interested in the character, because that is something that's big for Neil Harris when he's looking to bring players in.
Yeah, I mean, I met him on the Sunday after we got promoted on the Saturday, and I don't know if we met in Hooters, so he's not the best.
He's absolutely fine. I love it. He's perfect. We'll sign it off.
We can't have Notts County fan on or talk about Nottingham Forest without bringing up Hooters. I love it. You're one of us, mate. You're in.
Yeah. You know what? And also, Tom, thanks for that, because when we do sign him tomorrow, or when we confirm the announcement either tomorrow or Monday, the thumbnail for this part of the show, what will go out then, will be him and Hooters. That's
the Hooters t-shirt.
Yeah, that's the thumbnail sorted.
It's when the players return from from Wembley after the playoff final, and they're just doing the rounds in Nottingham. But no, nice guy, I'd say down to earth guy, but also like knows he's good, if that makes sense.
It's got
like
quietly confident.
Good.
Yeah, he isn't the loudest of players by any means, but he lets what he does on the pitch do the talking. I like you'll never find this. You'll find goal compilations and things like that. You'll never see his celebrations. Some of them are just like, I've scored again kind of thing.
Really?
A little bit cocky, sort of back walking towards
borderline arrogance, which is not a bad.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
We need a striker like that at the Den. That's what we need.
Like
we need a Paul Moody.
Like Morrison.
Yeah. You know, like, oh, for fuck's sake, I've done it again. Why can't anyone else score? Do you know what I mean? That's what we need. But Tom, no doubt, Chris will probably want to tap you up and go into more of a deep dive, because that's what he does with his shows. So I will.
How many yards have you run?
I will.
We should nickname him the surgeon. Get a mask on.
But
on the operating theatre.
Stop him blowing in his mic. But no. Tom, thank you very much for coming on. Thank you very much to Not County guys who have tuned in to watch.
Cheers,
Stay
Tom.
on. It gets it gets a bit more non-northern for you shortly. But look, thanks, Tom. Any final wishes before we go to anyone on the panel? And then I'll just give Tom his final bit. Give us obviously your account details and that, Tom, so that people can hear you. But anyone?
No, good. Thanks for coming on, Tom. Much appreciated, mate. And good luck for the season.
Cheers. I mean, I just want to say, I hope the deal breaks down overnight. But
you said before the show that you was not that like this team go.
No. It will be boring for me to go into it now with the issues Notts had last year. But we've basically strengthened the defence that much that we don't have to rely on him scoring 28 goals for us. So as gutting as it is, 700k is still a big amount to Notts, even though I think it should be a bit more. But I want to say, I think give him a bit of time. I think. Be good.
What fee do you think is right? I'd love to just know that before you go.
Obviously, it depends on the add-ons. I would have preferred money straight up front, but that's not how football works.
Yeah.
I think, and this might sound mad, but I've watched him every week. I would have been wanting $1 million. And then the add-ons to be less.
You know he's coming to Millwall, yeah?
Yeah. I just think he is the best striker I've ever seen at Notts. Hands down the best striker I've ever seen. And the fact we put him captain put my expectations up a bit more. The fact that pre-season we were saying, right, well, he scored 42, let's see if he can get 20, and he breezed it in a team that by the end of the season were getting hammered, like battered by Sutton, who got relegated, put 4 passes at our own ground. So he scored 28 in a team that's not doing very well.
That's probably one of our ex-players who've done that as well. So,
I think it was Malachi scored, didn't he?
That's it. So, look, Tom, thank you very much. Hopefully he'll become our next top goal scorer and maybe knock Harris off that spot, because it's been a lot of years since we've had a striker to get really, really excited about. I mean, Morrison and Gregory were great, but I mean, I'm going back to Neil Harris and Moody and people like that who are, who could score, or Sheringham and Teddy and stuff. So Cascanarino even and Sheringham. That's what we need. We need a striker who can finish. And as long as he can take being called a cunt by a 16-year-old in our lower tier, then he's got a life made here, mate. As long as he can take that and he can still perform, then it's all good. It's all good. And thanks very much for letting us rob you. Just called us Dick Turpin. Just called us Dick Turpin now. The London Highwayman.
Nice one. Cheers, Tom.
Cheers, Tom.
Cheers.
Thanks, Tom, mate.
Good luck for the season.
Yeah.
You too.
Good luck, Tom, mate.
I think before we move on from Langstaff,